Hello students, today we are going to look at the plasma membrane. So you might all of you be aware about plasma membrane and where it is seen. Okay, so if you take a guess where it is seen, so you might immediately come up with an answer that it is seen in the cells. Okay, so I just projected an image of a plasma membrane, how it looks in the cell. Okay children. Okay, now let's go into the introduction to plasma membrane. Okay, now when I am talking about introduction to plasma membrane, I should first tell you what is a cell. Okay, now cell is basically the structural and functional unit of a living organism. So as I have written here, cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. Okay, and you people already know that all organisms are made up of cells. Okay, so now here I would like to point out one thing. I wrote the definition here. Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Okay, so when I say structural, what does that mean? It means that organisms have a basic structure of their own, just like me. Consider me as an organism here, and I have a basic structure of my own. And when I am having this basic structure, now inside my body I have organs. Okay, and these organs are made up of tissues, and these tissues are coming from the cells. Okay, now these cells are performing a particular function in a coordinated manner. So because of this, we are actually writing this definition as cell is a basic structural and functional unit of life. Is that clear? Okay, now coming to the plasma membrane. Now plasma membrane is present as a first barrier in animal cells and as a second barrier in the plant cells. Okay, now when we are looking at in-depth analysis of the plasma membrane, what we should look at? We are looking at a delicate, thin, elastic, living membrane. Okay, right? So we are looking at a delicate, thin, elastic, living membrane. So this we call it as a plasma membrane. Now, where I told you that it is a delicate, thin, elastic and a living membrane, and now it also has a boundary, that is, it is enclosed in a particular cell. All right children. Okay, now moving on. Now coming to the size and it is thickness, its thickness. Okay, now plasma membrane is about 10,000 of a millimeter in thickness. Okay, that is very, very small, 10,000 of a millimeter. Okay, right, and it can be observed only under a electron microscope. You know what an electron microscope is, right? It actually functions by beam of electrons which are falling on the particular specimen, and the preparation of specimen takes a lot of expertise. Okay, and it gives us an image as a very highly magnified one. Okay, so plasma membrane, because it is so thin, it has to be observed only under a electron microscope. All right children. Okay, now let us go to how it is made up of. Now it is made up of two layers. Okay, now the first layer is a phosphate layer. Now this phosphate layer is made up of proteins. Okay, and the second layer is the fat layer. Okay, it contains fat. Okay, and this layer together it is called as a phospholipid bilayer. Okay, right, and let me go to the first slide and show you. This is the phospholipid bilayer. Okay, it is just like a sandwich. Okay, so if you are eating a sandwich, if you see there is a cabbage or a lettuce put in between the two slices of bread, or an omelette put in between the two slices of bread, or a jam put in between the two slices of bread. So it is basically that. Okay, it is a sandwich it's a sandwich model. Okay, plasma membrane is a sandwich model. All right, children? Okay, let's go further. Now, that is why, because it is made up of two layers, it is called as a phospholipid bilayer. All right, children? Okay. Now, you should be aware that plasma membrane in every cell organelle generally has one layer. Okay. But there is an exception. The exception here is mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell, which makes ATPs. Then nucleus, which has the DNA in it, it has the chromosome in it, it carries our genetic inheritance. Okay. And chloroplasts. Now, these are seen in plants, which give green color to the plant, okay, to the leaves of the plant. Okay, right? Now, these three will have two lipid bilayers. Okay, they will have two lipid bilayers. Why? Because they are the major part in the cell. They play a very major role in the cell, and they make energy. The mitochondria, it makes energy. Nucleus, it carries the genetic information. Chloroplasts, it gives the green color to the plant. So, when these major functions are carried out, there is a tremendous amount of pressure which these organelles get. So, that is why in order to maintain that balance, you have a two lipid bilayer. Okay? And you have subcellular organelles. Now, when I say subcellular organelles, your endoplasmic reticulum comes, your Golgi complex comes, your ribosomes comes, etc. So, all these organelles are called as subcellular organelles. Okay, right? So, they are made up of a single lipid bilayer. Is that clear, children? Okay. Now, next, plasma membrane is a selectively permeable membrane. Now, the meaning of this term selectively permeable membrane we'll discuss in the next class. Okay. And this selectively permeable membrane will allow the flow of only certain substances. It allows flow of only very few substances in and out of it. Okay, right? So, say for example, you have oxygen, glucose, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, carbon dioxide and wastes. Okay. Now, out of these, carbon dioxide and wastes are coming out of the cell, and all these, the oxygen, glucose, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals, now they are going into the cell. Okay. So, the plasma membrane actually selects what has to come into the cell and what has to come out of the cell. All right, children? Okay. So, this is about the introduction to plasma membrane. So, I will see you in the next class.